You're right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President, and I too want to associate myself with the remarks of the Leader of the Senate and the Leader of the Opposition in the Senate. I had just come from a function tonight launching a book about the Joe for PM saga, and Ian Sinclair was there to talk about the book. And Ian regaled a story about how, when he was first made a minister, Robert Menzies said to him, I've only got one piece of advice for you. I might disagree with me, you might disagree with me, but your job is to always tell me what your views are and be upfront with those views. And we should never be afraid of debate and different views in this place. And I too want to say to Senator Milne that she has put her positions to this chamber in a passionate and forceful way over a long period. And what would this place be without people like Senator Milne to have that debate and that contest of ideas, which is what Australian politics should be about. And I pay tribute as a relatively new senator of nearly up to a year, and to thank Senator Milne. I think he's had 10 years in this place, almost to the day, and before that about 15 odd years, I think, in the state parliament in Victoria. So some total of about a quarter of a century serving public life. I can only take my hat off to you, Senator Milne, and fear for my own sanity and youthfulness about facing the prospect of another 24 years in public life. I'm sure my wife hopes that is not the case. And I too would like to wish you all the best for your future. I know that you will have more time to spend in your much-beloved Tasmania, among nature and with your family as well. And I was particularly drawn to your quoting from Tennyson. And there's a long poem that Tennyson wrote about In Memoriam, which I'm not going to read all of, but there's a nice little verse there that says, "But they must go, the time draws on, and those white-favoured horses wait. They rise but linger, it is late. Farewell we kiss, and they are gone." It's a beautiful poem, and I hope you can read much more poetry in your retirement. I certainly don't get an opportunity to do that in this job. Now tonight, I was going to speak about the very important issue of single-income families, and I was sitting here thinking, the Leader of the Opposition has turned up to hear my speech, the Leader of the Government has turned up to hear my speech. I must be saying something very important. And then it dawned on me that they weren't here for me. But I perhaps will have to hold over my remarks to another night, except to say tonight, in the minute remaining, that I think this is a very important issue. It's becoming an increasingly important issue about the tax treatment of single-income families in Australia. We have always had a system which is relatively discriminatory against single-income families, relatively discriminately in comparison with other countries in the world, and even when you just compare it here in this country, it is a difficult situation for those families that rely on one income. It has gotten worse in the last few years with an increase in the tax-free threshold and also the means testing of family tax benefit B, and I think it is time that at some point we look to tackle that anomaly, and I have made a submission to the tax white paper with some suggestions, some practical suggestions to do that, some affordable ones I think, and perhaps in another adjournment speech night I will expand further on those. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator.